Hello, first graders. So you've already listened to the end of EL lesson 3, and this is our read aloud for today. And it's a book called My Math Toolbox. And your work assignment for today is to listen to the story and then go on your own paper and write and draw a picture, if you want to, about what is this book mostly about. So the title of it is My Math Toolbox. Let's see what we're going to learn. Tools for this, tools for that. What is in my math toolbox? It's almost like what we got, right? We got backpacks with, we called it a toolkit. That would be another word for a toolbox. My math toolbox is filled with tools I use for math. And then there's some of them right there. We're going to talk about some of them right now in the story. I use my ruler to measure length. So they're measuring length, and it looks like they're measuring the length of a colorful worm. And then she's using a ruler to measure her arm. Really neat. Did you know you could use a ruler to measure those things? My ruler has inches on one side and centimeters on the other. So if you notice, the inches are wide and the centimeters are short. And I'm sure that when you cover measuring in math, Miss Nip will talk more about these. But these are just some words that we're learning about different math tools. I use my calculator to add and subtract. Now, I'm sure that Miss Nip is showing you other things to use to add and subtract now. We don't necessarily use a calculator yet, but you might use a calculator later when you get into like 4th or 5th grade. My calculator has buttons with numbers on them. Numbers, not letters. Although some of them have different letters that do different things called functions, but most of them have numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's a very colorful calculator, isn't it? I use my measuring cups to measure amounts of water and things like flour. So they're measuring flour. We use measuring cups, and I actually have one right here, to measure things to cook with and to bake with. And they measured flour and water. Those are two things. This one is a liquid, like mine, measuring cup, measures liquids like milk and oil and water. And this one is a dry measuring cup. And that's used to measure things like flour, sugar, brown sugar, anything that would be a dry ingredient. My measuring cups hold different amounts. This one holds 1 cup, a half a cup, 1/3 cup, and the small one's for 1/4 or 1/4 cup. I use my protractor, that's a protractor, to draw and measure angles. Isn't that neat? Angles. So what they're showing right here is when you if you put the protractor on a piece of paper, if the angle is this much, it would be called 70 degrees. And if it's measuring this one, that angle is 110 degrees. So this is a half protractor, and it's called a 180 degree protractor, and this one's a full circle. That's a 360 degree protractor. And then these are triangle ones. Protractors, another math tool. My protractor helps me draw triangles too. So then they're drawing different triangles at different degrees. Then it says, can you match the tool to the job? So what we're going to do is during small group, we're going to use this book to match which tool would you use to do one of these problems, one of the jobs? Okay. And there's the end. And we talked about a text feature last week. This is another text feature. It's called an indexed. And you know it's a non-fiction book because it has an index. Our text feature last week was a table of contents. This index tells you that on page 10 and page 12, it talked about calculators. On page 8, it talks about centimeters. So this would tell you what page you would find something on. And then it actually even tells you about websites and about the person, the author that wrote the story. That's a text feature, is an indexed. So, what do you think this book is mostly about? Think. Write about it. If you want to draw the cover of the book or some things that you saw in the book, that would be fine. But on your own paper, write what this book is mostly about. All right, we'll talk about it again during small group. Have a great Tuesday. Bye, friends.